So today we're going to talk about what to do in the current banking crisis. Now, I think we all expect this is going to eventually get worse. And my advice and my considerations are going to be very different than what you're hearing from other people. There's two reasons for that. The first reason is the banks, the crypto exchanges and so forth that got bailed out, they are monetary conduits for the powers that be and the academic, the liberal elite, the political class, and the military class. So do not expect your bank, your institution, your employer to get bailed out. Because most likely, if they're not directly tied to a dark money conduit, they're not going to get bailed out. Now, in situations where we're at, if the value of T-bills and bonds are going down because the interest rate is too low compared to current inflation rate, you can expect that the dollar will go down. Confidence will be lost in the dollar. And when you look at the fact that they're going to have to print money to do these bailouts, as well as to fund the government activity that would be called stimulus, in whatever form it takes, that's going to cause your buying power to fall even more. Now, this is a classic economic case of a reversal of capital flow. So what's going to happen is a lot of the capital, the tractors, the trucks, the construction equipment, farmland, commodities, it's going to flow out of the United States to areas of higher wealth rather than flowing from areas outside of the country in. So you can expect shortages. Now, the fact that the majority of stuff you need to survive is produced outside the country, now is the time to buy it before the reversal of capital flow becomes evident and obvious. So you're probably sitting in a situation now where the things you need for the next 10 years are going to be available. You're going to see the maximum availability right now and probably the lowest price. Now, eventually, when an economy collapses, it will go deflationary and the prices of everything will go down. The problem is you got to go through the hyperinflationary cycle before you ever reach that point. And the length of that can't be determined. It's just going to play out however it plays out. So these are the things to think about. What kind of clothing are you going to need for the next 4 or 5 years? You would be better off looking at it for the next 10 years. But let's start with 4 years and work up. Right now, I would go to the Goodwill, mission stores, used clothes stores, yard sales, and I would buy whatever work clothes, shoes, socks, outdoor gear, cold weather gear, backpacks, sleeping bags, anything like that you need or you think you're going to need, I would get that now and I would buy it used. And that way you get maximum bang for the buck. The second thing I would do is look at my situation on what kind of food production I have and whether I can expand that. I see all these channels where they're telling you, wait till the economic collapse and go out and get the deals. That's Bravo Sierra. That's a fool's errand. The reason is, if you're going to buy a farm, you're going to need 4 or 5 years to develop it and get it going. I don't care if it's being operated right now, you have a large learning curve to actually become productive. I've grown food on 3 different plots of land within 75 miles of each other, and nothing that grows at one grows well at the other of the 3. So you can be 2 miles down the road and your soil and your microclimate conditions can be different enough that you will not be successful using the techniques that you know now. That's why there's a learning curve. You need to know what grows on the plot you are sitting on now. The second thing is you're going to have to cut grass, you're going to have to bush hog, you're going to have to do chainsaw work, you're going to have to do shovel work. So most of the blades and parts for these things are made overseas. Get several years worth of lawnmower blades, bush hog blades, parts for your tractor, your vehicles, your trucks, anything like that. The second thing to look at is power tools. We still have electricity and you should benefit from that. So what you need to think about is obsolete tools and battery adapters. Right now the DeWalt 20 volt and the Craftsman 20 volt batteries, lithium, are some of the most popular. You can get adapters for $10 to $20 a piece to use those on all kinds of obsolete equipment. You should look at that on Amazon and on eBay. Because, for instance, you may be able to buy 20 power tools in the 9.2 volt from the old Craftsman series for $200 or less. And you can buy 2 battery adapters and use the modern lithium batteries on them. That's one of the things you need to look at. Now, you have 2 kinds of battery adapters. One of them is factory produced and the other is 3D printed. The 3D printed ones are a little rougher, but with a little handwork, cleanup work, they work just as well as the factory ones do. So the next consideration is how you're going to stay warm when you don't have no money. And the answer to that is burning stuff or blankets, sleeping bags, or a combination of those 2 things. You should be looking at doing that now. These are a few considerations that you should think about and move forward towards. These will do much more for you than buying gold or silver or any of the other crap that people are suggesting you do in this collapse. Please share your thoughts. We'll see you on the next video.